YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode here on ESGNet, the Dallas Cowboys franchise. This is the Cowboys Insider, and this is episode 38, taking a quick look here at week 15, and of course getting you guys ready for week 16 as we're getting closer and closer to the end of the regular season here with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, today's episode we are going to look at week 15 as we took on the Seahawks in a very close game. Final score 35-30 in this one, and boy was it something here as we were in Seattle, the third game of this huge 4-game road trip that we've been on here, and now we're getting ready to go to at least one more game here on the road. We gotta go to Philly coming up. We'll talk about that here pretty soon, but this game here against Russell Wilson and the defense of Boom, the Seattle defense there, not particularly friendly when it comes to playing there in their home stadium, as Sherman and of course Cam Chandler and the rest of the guys there on defense pretty stingy when it comes to points here, but we were able to get out of this one pretty good here. 35 points we scored, and we'll get into those numbers in just a bit. But like I said, not an easy place to play at, a very loud place. We actually had a couple, I think 2 penalties in this game was caused because of hard counts that Russell Wilson was making. We could not get off the ball, get to the ball, or get off the line properly, and that's caused us in some plays there. If you guys watched that last episode there, so. Cowboys very successful getting out of that game, and for the most part here, well, I don't know. Well, let's go and discuss the numbers here some. We'll take a look here. Dak Prescott, 23-34, completed 67% of his passes, 237 of those, or 237 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 sacks. So he was clean as a sheet there. No interceptions in the game. We did a great job there of moving the ball through the air. Couldn't have a 300-yard game there, but hey, we'll take what we can get. Especially if it's a 200 somebody, getting close to 250 and no interceptions there. I'm happy for that. I'm very pleased with that when it comes to Prescott there. But Zeke Elliott had a nice game. 28 carries for 151 yards. 1 touchdown and 4 broken tackles there. Tried to get him in the end zone there towards the end there, but just was not the case. There you take a look at some of Russell's numbers there. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception there. I believe that 1 interception the defense was able to take it back for a pick 6. As I'm looking into my number. Okay, no, I'm not. I'm wrong. I take that back. They were okay. Yeah, there was no touchdown, but it was an interception. Orlando Scandrick got that one, who had 4 tackles and 1 interception. But also on the running game there too, Bird, he helped us out there with 6 carries, 51 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 broken tackles. Receiving, we had 3 touchdowns, of course, 1 going to Jason Witten, who had 6 receptions for 32 yards. Terrence Williams, 2 receptions, 27 yards. And James Hanna, the other tight end, 4 receptions, 41 yards, and a touchdown there for him. Defensively, Frederick there, 7 tackles, 3 tackles for loss. Jalen Smith, 4 tackles, tackle for loss. What else? Orlando Scandrick, like I said, 4 tackles. Interception there for him. DeMarcus Lawrence, 3 tackles and a sack and a half for him in the game. So defense did a great job there of containing, yes, they did give up a lot of points, more points than we was wanting to give up, but for the most part there, they did a good job there. I think personally that they did for Russell Wilson, just keeping him in check. Even though Wilson did have a couple of plays there, he made some first downs with his legs and stuff. But it wasn't as a crazy, blowout, or just him just going all crazy on us or anything like that. Not, I shouldn't say a blowout, but wasn't as what I thought he was going to be able to do, or what he's known to do, to really just get on to two other teams' defense there. Their running game was pretty good there, but we were able to shut them down there and keep them in check. But there you see the rest of the numbers there for the defense there. Wyatt Nitzchik, a rookie outside linebacker there. He had a good game there. He had 3 tackles, a tackle for loss in that game. Now, when it comes to the other side of this, now we did get the win, but it did also cost us, as Ryan Switzer did go on the disabled list, and there you see a dislocated elbow. He's going to be out pretty much for the remainder of the regular season, and maybe even possibly the postseason if by chance we get further down. He may even miss the Super Bowl, the way they're talking here. So, and that was kind of a big hit there for us, because he's a young man that's been stepping up for us here a lot, especially this early part of this season there, and getting him more involved into the in plays and stuff like that, getting him more into some different offensive packages there, stuff like that. Just really sucked that he is going to be out for a while there. So that means the next man up. We got Noah Brown's going to have to step up now, step his game up. This is his audition because I think he is up for contract renewal. So if he's wanting to stay around here next season with the Cowboys, this is your audition, son. So he's got to have to do what he can do there to get better and try to improve himself in that aspect there. So we'll have to see how things go about here coming up here in this next game coming up with the Eagles, which is never, again, another tough road game here, going to play, especially like them. Remember last year at this point we were undefeated going into that game, and we ended up losing that one there. So tough game there for us, and we'll try to see if we can try to bounce back here. As you take a look at your players of the week here in week 15, there you see Matthew Stafford had a really great game this week. As for the offensive for the AFC, you got Le'Veon Bell. And then you see your defensive players there for the 49ers, and of course for the Jags, there representing the defensive side of both the NFC and AFC. So take a look here. Now we have clinched a playoff berth here, and of course there's a good chance we have a home field advantage here as we're 13-1. So really, the next 2 weeks, if we even lose here, we pretty much are pretty solid as having home field advantage and taking over pretty much the road to the Super Bowl has to go through Dallas. So as you take a look at the Eagles, they're 8-6. They have lost, or they've won one game here just recently here. And they're take a look at their road wins there. They're 5-3 on the road, but they're only 3-3 at home. So this is not a good game for them. Because they have not been playing well at home. They've been they're 500 at home right now this season. For us, we're 6-1 on the road, so it looks like we got a pretty good, it's pretty much a favor on our side here. But of course, playing in Philadelphia is never an easy task, and like I said, we've seen that just last year, and we had a tough time with that, and that is going to be something that we're going to have to try to forget about. Now, take a look at the numbers from last time we played them. Back a couple weeks ago, there are 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions there for Prescott, and he just had a little over 300 yards in that game. McFadden, who had 18 carries, 72 yards, 1 touchdown. Zeke Elliott. Now, this was the game that Elliott was taken out. This is the game that he was taken out. And talking to Elliott here in this past week here in practice, he said he would love to get revenge on these guys. He would like to have a nice game here in Philly and pretty much hush the Philly crowd and the Phillies defense. So, he's ready for. Of course, this has been talked throughout both in sports radio through both cities, and this built, as they call it, bulletin board material, and it was mentioned quite a few times. And of course, Phillies fans are joking about, like, hey, we're gonna try to take him out again. The It's just that the Eagles players there talked about it and didn't have too much to say about it, except for that if need be, they're going to make sure that they can ruin their postseason by taking out Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott in that game. So there you see, taking a look at the numbers there. You guys can check those out. But yeah, that game was a doozy, and that one was played at home, and we had a good showing. I think it was a good game. But for the most part, there we are trying to see if we can get out of that game with them live. Now that game that you just seen right here, that was back in week 10, just a few weeks ago. That really there you see 38-10. So we played well at home. We're at home, we got the home crowd behind us. This is gonna be a little different now. This could be a high scoring game. I see it as a high scoring game. It's going to be a game that's going to go, there's going to be a lot of back and forth. There's going to be a lot of lead changes. And I think it's going to come down to by possession. Whoever has possession of the ball, whoever can take care of the ball, and not to mention, whoever has the most takeaways. And that's going to be key for us going into that game, is we cannot be the team to end up having to take away. So that means Dak Prescott's going to have to be on cue. He's going to have to be on fire going in that game when it comes to passing. There you see one of their not too many, no serious injuries for the Eagles this week. I think they have a second string offensive lineman that's down. But you take a look there. We're going to do short passing there. We can't go deep. And that's been something we've been dealing with here in the last couple of games here, as the deep threat is not in our favor, and so that means there's going to be a lot of tight ends going to be involved. So they're going to have their hands there. Not to mention, I think really important, we're going to have, I know a lot of people have been saying this, but we got to have Des Bryant involved in the game here a lot more, and that is something that coaches I've been at least talking to this past week have really said that that's going to be very important to have Dez involved and get him, some maybe in a lot more drag routes, and maybe possibly some crow routes they've been working on here for this week. But that is something they're going to be looking into. And then for defense there, defense, we're going to have to really pretty much try to shut down LeGarrette Blount. LeGarrette Blount was just a beast last year when we played them here. He had a really good game. I think he had over 100 yards, and I think majority of those yards, I think he had like 70-something yards in the first quarter alone. So it took us a while there to shut him down. But he did have 120. I'm trying to look at, let's see. Let's look here. Notes was about 100 almost 140 yards in that game. So it's something we may have to go. Definitely it's going to be something that we're going to have to be watching out for here when it comes to him in that game. Now, defensively here, some of the guys there, Brandon Graham. There you see, 8-year man from Michigan. He's a young man. Pretty young, 30 years of age, 6'2". And he is definitely one of the ends that we're gonna have to really watch out for. He's good coming off the as a speed rusher there, and he will if he gets his hands hold of our backs, we're definitely gonna be in trouble. Especially if he gets a hold of our quarterbacks if we don't protect the line here. And that's been something that coaches have not really been saying too much about, but that's been something that a lot of the guys on the team on the line have been talking about. Like some of the blocking has been kind of sloppy. Fletcher Cox, there you see him, a 6-year man from Mississippi State, 27 years of age. There you see another defensive tackle, or actually a defensive tackle there in the interior there. Another guy that can just get through the line if need be, and put a hurting on our quarterback there. So we got to protect our quarterback as much as possible going in this game. I believe he has 5 sacks this season for this season. Zach Ertz, 29 receptions, 432 yards, and 2 passing touchdowns here. A big red zone threat that we're going to have to deal with here. If we can keep him out of the red zone and really the midfield, if we can keep watching him, I think we have a good shot here of stopping him. 5th-year man from Stanford there. Definitely a huge threat there. Like I said, in the red zone there, and also in the vertical threat. So we can't get him. We got to watch him going deep. Alshow Jeffery's there. Not much of a big threat for us. Excuse me. From last game, back in week 10. But again, since he was not a threat last time, he could be a threat. He definitely could be a threat here this time around, and we'll definitely have to keep a close eye on him. As if they get in the red zone there, they're going to be their bread and butter right there. He's going to be right there to make those great, amazing catches there, and especially in the back of the end zone there, and just put a hurting on us. Bradham, Nigel Bradham there, you see left outside linebacker there. Great at coverage. Take a look there at some of his numbers. But also a very athletic linebacker there. He has 37 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 interceptions. So he is definitely going to be a guy that we're going to have to watch out for in the middle there. I believe they mix him in there in the middle linebacker position at times there in certain play packages. So he's going to be really going to be looking for to do some damage. And of course, in the middle there, we like to throw to a lot, is Jordan Hicks there, who has 84 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 4 interceptions this season. And again, when it comes to interceptions, this has been not our year here, as I believe Dak has now 15 for the season. Now, as far as I know, coaches said that he's going to play in the first half, and just depending on how well he does in that half, he'll be able to play second half. If not, then Cooper Rush will come in and take over those duties. So, and then of course there you see LeGarrette Blount there. Like I said, another guy there who's just a power back that's just a freakishly just great runner there. And yeah, again, we're gonna have to stop him, keep him in the backfield there, get some tackles for loss on him. But at the same time too, he's good at catching. He can catch a ball and get up the field. So when it comes to screen passes, we got to watch out for those. Definitely is going to be a guy that we're going to watch for. And of course, Carson Wentz, he's a good pocket quarterback there, but he can scramble. He can, if you don't keep a close eye on him, he will take off and get down the field here very quickly there. 6'5", 2-year guy from North Dakota State. He definitely could be a big, huge threat there in the running game if we let him run around too much. So got to keep him in the pocket there, kind of mix around the coverages and get him, at least I know, talking to some good scouts there, they said he hasn't been doing too well in zone coverage. So if we can throw a lot of zones at him, maybe occasionally throw some blitzing in there, and just to get him to, some mixtures of zone and zone blitzing and stuff like that. I think we can have him put some pressure on him just enough for him to throw some incomplete passes and maybe even some interceptions. So that is something we're going to be looking into, or at least game field wise, talking to the team they've been looking into. But it's going to be a very close game, I would say this much. It won't be a huge blowout like it was when they came to Dallas. So. But there you see, week number 16, 13-1 Cowboys going against an 8-6 Eagles. They are hungry. They would like to put another W on themselves and put an L on us, but we'll see if we can avoid that here coming up in week 16. So that is it for this episode of the Cowboys Insider. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like. Don't forget to also to subscribe if you're not yet subscribed to ESGNet, and hit that bell notification so you guys be notified when the videos are uploaded to the channel, so you guys be the first ones to know what is going on here on the series. So thank you guys again for checking us out, and stay tuned for week 16 coming up here very soon here onto the channel here on ESGNet. But that is it. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord. Links are down below in the description. Check those out. And again, follow us there for late breaking news or anything what's going on here on the channel and what's going on with the particular series. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.